This video is brought to you by PrizePicks.
Round select Casey Concepcion.
Okay, this is pretty much what we expected since Makai went off the board. This is exactly what we were expecting since Makai went off the board. So not a surprise here. The too long didn't read on Casey Concepcion. Playmaker, excellent separator. The big thing with him is that he had some focus drops in college that affected his playmaking ability. But this is kind of where people thought Cleveland would be leaning towards after they went and took Spencer Fano. So the Browns end up going exactly in the direction that people thought they would. Tackle, wide receiver in the first round. Hey, let me talk to you about my sponsor for this year, PrizePicks. It's a fun way to win cash while you're watching your favorite teams. Forget complex betting rules. Their app is designed to be incredibly easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Speaking of, here are my picks for this upcoming NFL season. They have Myles Garrett at 14 sacks here. I think he will get more than 14 sacks. Joe Burrow at 3,875 passing yards. I think he'll be a 4,000-yard passer. I'm going to go with more. They have Derrick Henry at 1,224 yards. I'm going to go less than that. Check to see if PrizePicks is available in your state. You can follow me on the app at KWEN_C to see all of my lineups. Download the PrizePicks app today.
So the Browns
play
go
$5 and get $50 in lineups when you download the app using the link in the description.
The wide receiver out of Puerto Rico, out of the University of Texas A&M.
There's a lot of good with him.
Hold on, let me turn off the draft audio real quick so that doesn't continue to play.
But there's a lot of good here to talk about with Casey Concepcion. There's some things that concern you about Casey Concepcion. Let's start with the good, right? The Browns, what they needed at wide receiver are guys who are quarterback friendly. That's the biggest thing that they need, right? They have a quarterback room that's a huge question mark. They need guys who can make the quarterback's life easier, right? We talked about this with Carnell Tate versus a prospect like Makai Lemon, who I liked a lot. Thought the Browns should have traded up to go get him. You look at Carnell Tate and you say, oh, the jump ball ability makes him quarterback friendly, but then you watch how Carnell Tate wins. It's intermediate stuff. It's downfield. It's usually throws that are traditionally harder for a quarterback to access. And that's not the most quarterback friendly style. Not saying he can't be good, but it's not the most quarterback friendly style. Casey Concepcion, super quarterback friendly style, right? This is a guy who's a playmaker with the ball in his hands, an electric punt returner out of Texas A&M, somebody who it doesn't take much to get him going. He's the best separator in this class, a solid route runner, right? So there's a lot to like there. The yak stuff is pretty strong. If you like the idea of getting Makai Lemon, he is the second best thing you can get that's not Makai Lemon, right? Like this is the second best. This is like not necessarily we got Makai Lemon at home, but you missed out on Makai, but you got him. I think they're pretty similar, except for Makai's a better yak player, and Makai he's better hands than him. But that's like the good stuff about Casey, right? Like he's a great athlete, tremendous with the ball in his hands, great separator. If you wanted Todd Monken to get his version of Zay Flowers, this is him. Now, I know Browns fans, because we have dealt with some reoccurring issues, when you see a wide receiver get drafted and he's under 6 foot, you're going to have immediate concerns, right? Oh, another 6 foot or sub 6 foot receiver. He's not in the mold of that. Somebody just said punt returner at 24. He can return punts, but he's also a damn good wide receiver. Did you not watch Texas A&M? I don't know why I'm reacting to it, but Casey Concepcion, right? What he brings to the table is the playmaking ability. You can get the ball in his hands easily. But also, when we think of these these archetypes, right? Oh, the sub 6 foot wide receiver. He's not that, right? What the Browns' issue was they were getting route runners that weren't that great with the ball in their hand, right? That's what the Browns kept drafting and kept trying to get, the David Bells of the world. Casey Concepcion's much different than that, right? The Browns haven't drafted somebody who's like if you're going to tell me that you have 6 foot wide receiver fatigue because the Browns drafted Anthony Schwartz and they drafted Casey Concepcion, they're not even in the same genre of wide receiver, right? Like he's a completely different type of player and different type of wide receiver than what the Browns have gone for. The Browns have nobody on the roster who plays like him, who offers the playmaking ability that he does. And for everybody in chat, everybody that leading up to this draft was crying about drafting a wide receiver at 6 because you want a playmaker. Well, congratulations. This is the second best playmaking wide receiver in the entire draft. Like if you're looking for a playmaker, you just drafted the second best playmaker at the wide receiver position in the draft. This dude is a playmaker, right? The issue with Casey Concepcion isn't that he's not 6'2". It's not that Casey Concepcion is not like the Denzel Boston type, which I don't think would have been very useful because the Browns already have a big wide receiver that can't really separate that well in Cedric Tillman. Denzel Boston, they're pretty similar archetypes there. What Casey Concepcion brings to you is a playmaker, somebody you could throw the ball to and hope breaks one big, right? Who could turn a 1st and 10 into a first down conversion or maybe a 2nd and 2. This is the kind of guy that you have here, somebody who can be good on end arounds, good on screens, good in short yardage, a first down guy, right? Like somebody that you can say cooks in the first round. And then if you add on top of this, the trade with Jacksonville from last year, right? And you look at what they got out of it, then it really starts to make sense, right? So they passed on Travis Hunter, who, the whole thing was that he's going to be a 3rd down player for you. And now you got a trifecta there, right? You got Mason Graham, who's a 3rd down stopper for you on defense. He's already proven to be that early in his career. And then you have Quincy Junkins, who is a 3rd down getter at the running back position. And then you draft Casey Concepcion, who's a 3rd down creator as a wide receiver. You put this guy in a phone booth, he's exciting to watch. You get this guy the ball in short yardage, gotta have it situations, he's exciting to watch. You get the ball, and the ball can get into his hands, he's exciting to watch. A lot of you who are shitting on this pick right now are gonna go click off this video after I'm done and then watch a highlight tape of Casey Concepcion and then be all excited about it, right? Like a lot of people don't know what he is. They're just looking at the measurables and going, oh, he's not 6'2". That does not matter. This is not the same thing as Anthony Schwartz, right? Or David Bell. This is very different than those kind of prospects. And this is the first swing that Andrew Berry has taken in the 1st round at wide receiver. This is exactly what everybody wanted. The Browns go offensive line. They get a wide receiver. They get Casey Concepcion. They get Spencer Fano. This is left tackle, wide receiver. Will they work out? We'll see, right? That's what their careers are going to play out for. But that's the vision there. Offensive tackle, wide receiver. We've been saying this is what we wanted. They did what we wanted here. They got a playmaker at wide receiver, right? Tony Rizzo was on the radio crying about the fact that the Browns don't ever take a playmaker. Well, you got a playmaker. Casey Concepcion's a playmaker. The big question with him, can he catch? He had focus drop issues last year. Now, somebody's bringing up, well, can he do contested catches? I think he was fine in contested catches, actually. I don't think he was terrible in contested catch situations. I'll go look that up after the draft. The issue with him is focus drops. There were times where he just lost focus, right? He saw green before he had the ball in his hands. He talks about that. Now, that is something that you can wipe out with work ethic. And it seems like this guy works hard. It seems like he does have the work ethic to wipe it out. And if he can wipe it out, then he's going to be a good player. But that's the big question with Casey Concepcion. A great athlete, great with the ball in his hands. This is, by reception perception, the best separator in the draft. So if you're worried about him getting open, that's not going to be a problem. If we're like, when we get to camp and we do one-on-one drills, you're going to love Casey Concepcion because he's going to cook our DBs, maybe not Denzel Ward, maybe not Tyson Campbell. Well, he's going to get Tyson a couple times. But he's going to put these guys in the phone booth and he's going to separate. You know, in the preseason, he's going to catch a screen and he's going to take it 30. You know, he's going to catch a slant and he's going to take it far. He's going to return a punt and he's going to make something happen with it. He's going to make plays. In between those plays, can you rely on him? That is the thing. Now, is he a number one wide receiver? Probably not. But you don't need the number one archetype wide receiver to be successful. Right now, if you look at the Browns receiving room and we look at all their pass catcher options, they got enough there to be happy with, right? Somebody said possible Anthony Schwartz at worst. He's nothing like Anthony Schwartz. What are we talking about here? Like, he's a good football player. Remember, Anthony Schwartz's issue wasn't that he wasn't athletic. It's that he wasn't a good football player ever. Casey Concepcion is good at football. Watch him play football and tell me that looks anything like Anthony freaking Schwartz. Why are we bringing that up? He is a good football player with the ball in his hands. He just has to get over the drops. That's his issue. If he gets over the drops, you look at that wide receiver room, you have him, you're hoping for a bounce back from Jerry Jeudy. If you get a bounce back from Jerry Jeudy, then you feel strong about him, Jerry Jeudy, as your two top wide receivers. You have Isaiah Bond there, who you felt strongly about last year, top 75 grade on him. And then on top of that, we got Harold Fannin, who factors into the pass game a ton. We'll see what they do with the rest of the draft. You got Dylan Sampson, who's going to factor into the passing game. And you see the vision for maybe it's not going to be the most explosive passing attack in the league, but it's going to be a more capable passing attack and something that helps the quarterbacks have a floor. And I think that's what this first round's all about. Let's give the quarterback position a floor. You know what I mean? Let's get an offensive line together. Let's put 5 good players on the offensive line. Let's put a playmaker at wide receiver that's not hard to get the ball to. And let's give these quarterbacks a floor so we can see what we have in them. That's what this is about, right? That's what this is about. They're giving the quarterback room a floor, and the philosophy of this draft is obvious. They spent 2 first-round picks on offense. This is exactly what everybody wanted. Spencer Fano in the run game, as much as I'm concerned about him at tackle in the pass game, that excites me, right? Him blocking for Quincy Judkins, and then you get the box heavy, then you put a guy in man coverage like Casey Concepcion who could separate at a high level, and then you can get some easy wins that way. There's a clear vision here. They're making it easy to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Casey Concepcion helps that. Spencer Fano helps that. We'll see how else they help that later on in the draft. But that's my first impressions of this pick. We're going to get to what you think in just a second here.